All right, we're back. Movie Bowl doing the Music Bowl today.
Rizzo and Sintan,
Yeah.
back at you again, baby.
I find it interesting. Like, I try to stay in touch with the music that's of today. And we're big music. Me and you we're big music fans, and music molded me into the
I would like
person
to
I
think,
was.
I mean, especially with me, and maybe the same with you. A lot of the music I listen to is older stuff.
Yeah. But it's funny though. I'm sure people who were like 10 years older than us said that our music was shit, and then like their music was better. It's like tradition for the generation before to not.
Right.
But like in general, I'm really unenthused by most that I hear nowadays. Is the truth.
Right.
Like it's really like it's disappointing.
But it's funny because when you made the pitch to me, that you said for this next podcast, I'm going to give you my top 5 albums from the last 10 years. And you have to listen to them, and I want you to give me your top 5 albums from the last 10 years.
Yes.
And you're going to listen to them, and then we're going to talk about it.
Yeah.
I actually, when you told me that, I'm like, shit, this is a challenge.
Yeah.
I don't know if I love 5 albums in the last 10 years.
Yeah.
And I started thinking about it, and obviously I did.
But like, even from like a social standpoint, I think it's important for us to understand the younger people and what they're listening to at least a little bit,
Of course.
Like me and my dad really connected through music, not just classic rock that he liked, but he liked some 90s bands too. He's really into like Stone Temple Pilots and stuff, and that was important to me and really connected us a lot.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's funny because I'll give you credit. On your list, you didn't actually cheat because the majority of the artists on your list are from the past 10 years.
Yeah.
But the artists on my list are all from my period.
Oh, they're all from
Durst, Eminem. There's not really any new artists on my shit.
Yeah. Okay. So Rizzo's gonna kick it off with his 4 of his favorite albums.
Yes.
Yeah.
An album that means a lot to me is Battleborn by The Killers.
Yes. Okay. An album I had not heard at all. Go on.
This album, I loved it when it first came out.
Mm-hmm.
But it was years later when my girlfriend, my wife actually, broke up with me right before she was going to move to New York. I guess it was like cold feet, stuff like that. And she lived in Texas. She was going to move to New York. And, she started seeing a lot of the Rizzo qualities. I guess I was scared off. So I went back to New York with my heart in my hand, and I rediscovered this album. That album's a lot about breakup. A lot of the songs on here, he has a song called, I Don't Want Your Picture in My Cell Phone. I Want You Here With Me. The name of the song is Here With Me. Really, a majority of the songs on that album are about breakup. So that album has such a place in my heart.
It's nothing like that.
Nothing like
that. I just, in my head, I just assumed they just made albums that sounded like that.
They really got
and it was very stupid of me to do that. Phenomenal album. The first 3 tracks, like I got obsessed with, and I mean, I listened to the whole album a couple times, but those are the ones I listened to,
Mr. Atomic Bomb. So many good songs on there.
Phenomenal.
3, I'm gonna say, Yeezus. Yeezus is an album by Kanye West. It is an album I love. It's a polarizing album. But this album, I remember, especially in the hip hop community, a lot of people didn't get it. He did a lot of stuff. He did a couple of songs on there with Daft Punk, Black Skinheads. They produced on that. And it was he's very angry on it. He's yelling a lot on it. I really love that fucking album. What do you think about it?
There's like a million different layers to that album, both like not only lyrically but like musically as well. Yeah, like Eminem's like the king of like lyrics, but like Kanye has like these the beats.
He makes his beats.
And he's also gifted lyrically. You know what I'm saying? Like his lyrics are also like amazing. You know what I'm saying? Like,
absolutely.
But like his beats are also just like, it's not even a matter of them being hot. It's just a matter of them being like fucking just.
But
phenomenal album.
Phenomenal. I'm glad you liked it. I wasn't sure if you even liked Kanye. And
I do. I'm more familiar with
I know which one you like.
Late Registration.
Dark Twisted Fantasy.
Yes, that one, and Late Registration too.
Late Registration is a great one too.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying.
The 2 I listen to the most. I'm not the biggest Kanye guy.
And here's the thing about his 4th album, 808 and Heartbreaks. That album, people at the time may not have opened sold on it. That is the most influential album for hip hop of the last 15 years. Like everything you're hearing now, Drake, a lot of basically the new hip hop sound, the singing with the rapping, that was all, a big part of that was Kanye on that album. So when I say that this was his most polarized, I feel like Yeezus still was his most polarizing. I'd make the argument.
I'd agree. I mean, now listening to it again, and I think this is the best one.
My number 3 is Gold Cobra.
By
By
Gold
Limp
Cobra by
Bizkit.
Limp Bizkit. Okay.
That's my number 3. To me, this is an album that should have came out after Chocolate Starfish. I love the album that came out, Results May Vary. So I gotta say that this album, Gold Cobra, should have came out after Results May Vary, and it would have been a lot more successful because this was the quintessential Limp Bizkit album. If you're a Limp Bizkit fan, this album sounds like them.
I agree. I agree completely with that statement for sure. It's not an album that I had ever heard before. I was familiar with Limp Bizkit. I was into them. I seen them in concert a few times a long time ago. So yeah, like to add on what you said, he is distinctly Fred Durst. No one in the world sounds like Fred Durst, and he is unapologetically Fred Durst, and that's cool. And that makes him unique, and he's one in a trillion.
Right.
The band has never been tighter than they are on this album.
Absolutely. They got West back for
Yeah,
that,
the
'cause
whole
Mike
bit-
Smith had replaced.
Right. So the band has never been tighter than they were on this album. Original lineup. The energy is there. The emotion is there. Part where I give a damn is just not there.
You son of a bitch.
Yeah, it's just this one I cannot. it's
But
just
it
not-
makes sense because you were a fan of $3 Bill, y'all, Fred Durst.
right. I
How
like
much harder.
I like the first two. I love the first two Limp Bizkit albums, and then
Significant
after
Other
that,
is my number 1.
after that, there's a bunch of like songs of theirs that I do like. But
Rich,
so he says
in the
things.
Woods.
He says things like like he says he's gonna like have his own Cobain or something like that. And I'm like,
Yeah, my personal Cobain.
yeah, my personal Cobain. I could smack him.
Wow.
He's got lame rhymes. He's got speed and timing. I'll give him that. I guess his flow is as strong as it's ever been. I
A
guess.
lot of different
but, like,
flows on there, too.
He's very little to say lyrically. I'm sorry.
There was always an issue with Fred.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah,
He's
I mean,
strongest when he's talking about relationships. And
I guess
you didn't even like the slowest
you
songs
you
on
get
it.
sick of it, but no, I didn't like the slow songs at all on it. Yeah, but yeah, that's how I felt about Gold Cobra from Limp Bizkit album.
there was a line that bothered you, too. I'm losing myself away.
Oh yeah, losing myself away.
Was
that's
that the
right.
line?
Yeah, that was the line. Yeah.
See,
I'm
it's
losing
funny because stuff
myself
that
away.
bothered you, that was something that I remember. Oh, that's actually, yeah, I like that. It's a kind of deep. My number 2 album of the last 10 years is Brand New Science Fiction.
When we say
Brand New
last
is the
10 years
brand.
too, we're in 2020 right now. We're going from the year 2010 to the 2019.
So if somebody finds this podcast one day in a fucking bottle in the ocean, they
Yes.
take it out and they listen.
hmm
They'll know this time's stamped.
It's all being recorded on tape
Yes.
for posterity.
Brand New is a funny band for me because the band you loved was like your favorite band. And for years, I mocked this guy.
This is like another Limp Bizkit situation. But
Yeah.
it's but much less. Anyway,
Because
yeah, go on.
I
But yeah, I was definitely mocked.
there
for
was a
liking this
certain
band.
point where you were getting, I guess, more mature with your music, or just you like different things. You weren't just angry. And new
Right.
metal was for the angry kids.
Yeah, I wasn't that angry. I discovered marijuana and I wasn't so angry anymore.
You started chilling out.
I still love my fucking metal. Don't get me wrong. I still listen to all those bands.
But I got into so I was getting into all that stuff a little later, into all the angry stuff and Limp Bizkit and Linkin Park, Korn, and I guess I didn't take it well that you stopped listening to that stuff. So I was really going hard
Yeah.
and mocking him and I said, "Tad, listen to his pussy crybaby music, Brand New."
I'm taking back Sunday and I'm giving him Thursday.
Something I said a lot. It never made any sense. So.
That was pretty funny.
It
though.
still is, I guess.
I
It still doesn't
think-
make much sense.
No, it makes no sense, but it's a great line. Either
Yeah.
way. Great line.
So it Brand New ended up becoming like my favorite band. Like it's up there with Limp Bizkit at this point. I
Yeah.
really love their entire catalog. So I've been fiending Brand New music. And I remember, and it wasn't promoted or anything. And I just saw something online. I'm like, what? I instantly went to Bandcamp and bought it.
I didn't even know they were
I fucking
still.
bought it.
I didn't even know they were around for most of that decade. To be honest
Yeah.
with you, I knew the stuff from the decade before.
But you listened to God and the Devil Raging Inside Me.
What year did that come out though? Wasn't that like 08 or 09
You're
or
right.
something?
It
Yeah.
was.
So I'm
It was.
saying
They had a
like.
big-
So with this album, I found it very interesting. It was not at all what I expected. I know they had
what
a
were you
chill.
expecting?
Yeah, but I mean, I enjoyed the album though. It was like an evolution in their sound, and it was like it was pretty chill. It's definitely
Did it spark your interest back in Brand New?
no, it didn't.
Okay.
Like I didn't go listen to any of the albums prior to that again. I know probably heard. I know Devil and God Rage Inside Me. That's a great album.
So my mission failed, is what you're saying.
With this one a little bit, yeah. But
With Fred Durst, with everything I've tried on
Limp
here.
Bizkit and that one, yeah, definitely.
Well, what about Killers? Would you check out
Yes.
the next Killers album?
Even though
okay.
I would.
And then you have a new album coming out, so
I will check it out. Really care.
and we're moving out of Satan's list because our number one is the same.
Yeah, we have the same number one. So, but I'm gonna go with an album that came out in 2019. It's called it's by Coheed and Cambria, my favorite band of all time, and it's called the Unheavenly Creatures. They basically Coheed and Cambria, they're like a rock opera kind of space opera kind of thing, and they always kind of did that. And the album prior to this one was a departure from that, where they kind of just were more of like a regular rock band, and they didn't sing about space or anything like that. And I mean, I love them. I bleed Coheed and Cambria, but that album just didn't do much for me. It's not a terrible album at all. It's a solid. It's a good album.
Which one? The one?
It's
prior?
called the one prior to it. But this one, this
was like a return to form.
Yeah, this one was like a return to form for me. They scriptive wording. I don't even know what the hell they're talking about anyway. The songs just kick ass to me. You know, it gets me. They tickle my funny bone. But yeah, I want to know what you thought about that album.
I think Coheed and Cambria for me is very much like the way you are towards like Limp Bizkit.
Mm-hmm.
In these albums, and I can't say a lot changed. Like for some reason, I was never huge into them. The other thing is even though he's singing about sad stuff always, it's not a happy band, but he has a way of singing very happy.
Yeah, I get it.
So for a band that I have no idea what they're talking about in their songs, and I just hear happy tone, it's not giving me what I want.
Gotcha.
And I think that's my biggest issue because I love rock opera type bands. I love My Chem when they did it. I love a lot of bands that remind me of them, but for some reason they never kicked it. But I will say that of all their eclectic works, I've never fully listened. This is my favorite project by them because I didn't hate it, and I have some notes.
Yeah.
In the first 2 minutes during the intro, right before the Dark Sentencer, they have a line when the voice is talking in the beginning, and I'm like, I know why Satan likes this album.
Why?
the intro, he goes, the 5 houses of the star supremacy have privatized the tension zones of the galaxy.
Yeah.
So you're talking about houses, Game of Thrones, and Galaxy, Star Wars. And I'm just listening to this. I'm like, this is Santana's shit, right? I'm like, Satan.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is a Santana album.
Yep.
And then I went on to listen to it, and like I didn't hear any more references to houses. Or
they're very they'll give you like a little information dump here and there, but I have no idea what they're talking about.
But I will say that I really liked the intro and Dark Sentencer, and I was excited at that point. I'm like, I'm going to actually like this album.
No,
and
that's
I'm going to go back and listen to all the Coheed albums.
Yeah.
But then it kind of like...
It's a foot stomping, hand clapping, like yelling song. That's a good
song. It hyped me up, and I enjoyed it. And then there was few and far between, but...
Gotcha.
But I did like Old Flames a lot.
Old Flames is a great song. Yeah.
You know, if I don't keep anything from that album, I want to keep that on my playlist.
That's a really, really good song. That's
Lucky Stars and Old Flames.
Yeah, Old Flames is a real evolution in their sound. Like this whole album, what I loved about it too is it's got a lot of piano in it, which none of their albums ever had before.
And were those singles?
Old Flames.
Is it Toys? Because that's on my list.
Toys is fantastic. I don't know if they might have made a video for it. I don't know if they did yet.
I enjoy Toys.
Toys is great.
Toys.
I love Toys. Yeah. Those are. And then what's the other one I love on that album too? There's a song called Unheavenly Creatures.
Okay.
That song's really good.
That
might be my favorite.
I'm always harder on songs that are the title song. I'm like, you named your album this. Like, this has to be your best song.
Oh, I love that song.
Didn't work.
Gotcha. So yeah, the next one on my list I would have to put down would be Some Nights by Fun.
Oh!
Yeah. So I was like, okay, whatever. You know, but it like really grew on me though. Like I used to hear it at work all the time. It was like one of the first songs I ever heard at my job that actually was like, oh, this is pretty good actually. Yeah, and I picked up their album. The second I heard Some Nights, I heard that single come out, I was like, oh, I have to get this album.
Yeah.
Like immediately. And start from finish, I mean, there's maybe one song I skip on that album.
I don't know if you remember, but you put me onto this album already. So when we were coming back from a boy's Gilio's bachelor party.
That's right, yeah.
It's funny because we're going to talk about our number one album. We listened to our number one album the whole ride to the Pennsylvania bachelor party. Yeah. The whole ride back, we listened to Fun. Right. And I downloaded the album and I had it for a long time. So I forgot how good this was.
Yeah.
So when it all came back to me when I listened to this album, like you said, some nights.
Yeah, but
I know you
like,
didn't talk about some nights. We Are Young is the obvious single. Like,
Yeah.
I was introduced to them even before you.
but Carry On is another.
Carry On.
Carry On is, I mean,
one of the ones I forgot about.
yeah, Carry On is like, to me, it should have been like it's a legendary generation defining song. It seems like this generation almost ignored that song.
Right.
It's like an emotional, meaningful song to me, you know, like, and I really connected with it. And then Why Am I the One?
Why Am I the
Why
One?
Am I the One
is my favorite.
Yeah,
on the entire album.
Those are my two favorites.
Because those are like beautiful. I agree with you that
Yeah.
why aren't these songs like in history?
Yeah,
Like,
I feel like, you know, if I was a young person at that age, like, I don't know why this isn't like, they're more, I don't know. I mean, they're very successful. The album was huge, won Grammys. It's not like an indie album or
Right.
anything. But I still like, I can't, it seems like a forgotten album, but to me, it's a legendary album. I loved it.
Yesterday when I left my house, I went to my parents' house, and when I was leaving, my dad was in the den on YouTube just listening to Imagine.
Mhm.
And it was funny to me because my dad's he didn't do things like that. But it was just like, so I would imagine that me, when I'm fucking 67, that I'm gonna be like in my fucking recliner chair listening to Carry On.
That's cool.
Or listening to Why Am I the One? Am I equating the Beatles with fun right here? Is that the mistake I'm making?
Well, I mean, it's not a Beatles song. It's just John Lennon. And,
I mean, just John Lennon, but
I mean, I
So,
don't. It's
but
not.
Nick-
It's not Imagine level, but it's a great. I mean, a great
but for
song.
me it is.
Okay, well, to me, it's not. But yeah,
Okay.
it can be to you, though. That's fine.
All
That
right.
doesn't. I mean, that doesn't. I'm not.
It's one of your
I'm not
favorite
shitting
albums
on
of
your
the last
opinion.
10 years. I would think it would be.
Oh,
For you.
Imagine? No, I consider Imagine.
You fucking poser!
Imagine's
you
on
fuck
another-
poser!
Imagine's on like another level, man.
I mean, I guess I see what you're saying. But I'm saying that's how
It was a
much I
different
do
world, though.
appreciate these songs on an
Yeah.
album.
No, that album is phenomenal. There's not too much else to say on it. No. Okay. And the next one, I'm gonna go. This is another album I believe came out in 2019 too.
Yes.
Go to visit my friends to see their new baby, and they're like, "Have you heard of Sturgill Simpson, Sound and Fury?" And I'm like, "No, what's that?" And they're like, "It's this anime that's also an album." And I was like, "What?" And I was like, "Oh, whatever. Just put it on." And I mean, immediately, like, yeah, you haven't seen the anime. The anime
haven't
is
seen the anime.
out of fucking control.
So
And
your
I am
introduction
not.
was the anime. with the
Yeah,
music.
I'm not an anime fan, but like, you know, it's a wild time. I'm not gonna get too much into that. This is about the music.
Right.
But what really stood out to me was the album. The album is just completely brilliant from start to finish. It's this fusion of blues and dance and country. I mean, it's like 2019 with like 1919 or something. Like influences from and everything in between that, for sure.
Absolutely.
The standout track both of us are obsessed with, Mercury in Retrograde, is just one of the best songs I've heard. Probably maybe the best song I heard the whole decade. I don't know. I mean,
I
it's
agree.
up there.
This album is my favorite of the ones you gave me that I didn't already know. And it blew me away because I like country music and that kind of message and those kind of the blues. I like all that kind of stuff. And I thought this was country, this was Americana, this was electronic. Like it was such a fucking merging of different ideas and sounds that didn't sound forced. It didn't sound like they didn't make any
not
sense.
at all. It fused all these things that
perfectly.
shouldn't make sense together.
Right.
Yeah, and like and that's what's such a unique aspect of it.
Mercury in Retrograde is on a different level than all the other songs. I love the whole album.
No, for sure.
But that song I've had on repeat since you put me onto this.
Yeah,
group.
since September I've been listening to it. It's May, like
right.
Yeah.
You picked me up in the car before. I had that on repeat.
Yeah.
And it wasn't
I was
even
rocking
ironic.
it. I was happy to hear it. You know what I mean?
Right.
I've heard it 1,000 times already.
It's been a while since I've done that because I've gotten into albums in my later age. I just put on whole albums.
Right.
It's been a while since I've fucking pinpointed one song from an album, just put it on repeat and said, fuck everything.
Yeah. No,
But
that's one of those songs.
It's one of those songs. What I love about that song is there's so many songs that are about success.
Yeah.
And this is, just about the good side of it. And this is a very, negative song about success. He has a line that goes, living the dream can make you want to scream, light up a match and burn it all down.
Yeah.
Like, that's so deep.
It is, absolutely. You know?
Because we don't think about that. We always think about, if my dreams come to fruition and I'm ever a famous fucking singer or a famous director or a famous anything, I'll be living the dream and it's all good. But he's like, living the dream makes you want to scream and burn it all down. It almost reminded me of, hurt Trent Reznor, like, take my throne,
Right.
throne of thorns, and you can have it all.
No, it's a very poignant line. Yeah, I mean, a lot of the album is questioning, like, you know, do you want to be out there partying or do you want to be working on your craft? You know, like
Right.
the song like "Make Art Not Friends."
I love Make Art. That's
Yeah,
another one on
that's
my list.
probably like my number 2 song on the album. I'd
Same,
say.
same.
Yeah, it's just a
Because
phenomenal
those songs
piece.
go with that theme. So it's like sometimes an artist doesn't even want to think about the stuff he makes. He wants his art to speak for
You
itself.
have to skip a
I don't
track. It's like an album you can just leave and
It's
play
true.
through. Yeah,
It's
like,
true.
Mercury in Retrograde's your reward for listening to the whole album.
Right.
Yeah, but
Because it is on a different level from the other songs. As
Yeah.
much as I love the album,
Yeah.
I love that song more than I love
No,
the album.
that song's unbelievable. I can't believe that's on a bigger hit. I feel like one
know.
day it might be.
I feel like it's gonna
It's
get
gonna be one of
licensed to
those
be in
hit-
a movie
Yeah.
in a poignant scene. Because I have a couple of scripts, and I was like, oh shit, I would play this in the
I
scene.
can see the
A
dude dancing
reflective
around
scene.
to that, like
Right, or
yeah.
a reflective scene. I use it the way Smith used in 1979, the way
Right,
he used
right.
1979 in Clerks 2. It'd be playing in the background, and my main character would be having a reflective moment. I'll let you get to your number 2.
Yeah, my number 2. Yeah, and the last one
What
on
is
my
your number
list.
2?
Yeah, my number 2 is
Bruno Mars.
Bruno
Doo
Mars,
Wops and
Doo
Hooligans?
Wops and Hooligans, and it could really have been this one or Unorthodox Jukebox too.
Okay.
I feel the same. I mean, they're both pretty amazing. This one I'll put slightly ahead of it, just because like I couldn't believe it. And it's funny, you said the same thing to me when I finally bought this album. So I didn't get it right away. I knew like his songs and stuff, but I probably bought the album in like, I think it came out in 2011, and I think I bought it in like 2012 maybe or something like that. And I almost knew every song on the album like already, just from like so many. I didn't realize he was like the singer or something. And you said the same thing when you bought the album.
Right.
You were like, "Oh, I never heard that album," but you kind of did because like almost
I heard
every
the whole
song.
album.
Yeah, almost every song's a single. It's very similar to how I felt when I heard it. I mean, start to finish.
I knew Grenade.
Yeah.
I knew Just the Way You Are. I knew Marry Me. I knew the Lazy Song. I knew these all as
Yeah,
singles.
"Marry You" is probably I don't know.
One of the biggest songs of all time.
Yeah, I mean it's
In the last 10 years,
probably my favorite track.
it
I don't know, it's one of
became
them.
like one of the biggest wedding
These
songs
songs
at the
full of-
time before the accident, before the pandemic. I was working at one of my jobs in a kitchen in a restaurant, and the chef actually requested, as I was playing the music, that I don't play Bruno Mars or Fun. And I don't know. I don't know what it
Bruno
was.
Mars is pretty for most of the album's pretty upbeat.
Bruno Mars is very upbeat.
Yeah, I enjoy it. To me, it's like you know, it's like a second coming of Michael Jackson almost. You know, and I'm a big fan musically, instrumentally. His band is fantastic, and
Yeah.
they're really tight. The songs have their own style, and you know, and all of his albums after that have been great too.
Yeah.
Hold on. You know, we're close now, but even you and I, at some point, we did drift apart over the years,
Yes.
and I really feel like Eminem might have really helped bring us back together.
Yeah.
And particularly the Marshall Mathers LP too, which is the album where
Absolutely.
that's our number 1. That's the best album of that decade.
I didn't really think
Both
about
of our
that,
opinion,
but
but
Marshall Mathers LP2 did like
'Cause that
really
trip-
spark us back.
that trip we took 2 trips to Pennsylvania that year, and like that's when we like you know, even the last couple of years after that, we haven't really seen each other too much, but we've been in
It's true.
contact. We've talked about that album for like 6 years.
Absolutely. It's
At least a few
extremely
times
important.
every year. We
In
still
the
text each
echelons of
other or
Santana
something.
Rizzo relationships, friendships.
I know, and it has nothing
This-
to do with the seminal period of when we were kids at all. It's something
Yeah.
way later in lives as adults.
But it is ironic that it is a sequel to Marshall Mathers LP
It is,
that we're talking about.
which is like an album,
Marshall Mathers LP2, by the way.
which is
by
an album
Eminem.
I don't associate with you necessarily. At least when it launched, I know now like you're
Right.
the biggest Eminem fan I know. But
But
I
back
mean,
then,
and I'm sure you did listen. I'm sure you listened
course
to
I
it.
did.
Everyone had that album. I
Yeah.
mean, but I just don't remember it being a conversation between
No.
you and me a
No.
lot about that album, which is also a phenomenal album. And
of course, the
I
sequel
mean-
to Marshall Mathers LP.
and
Where does it fall on your list of Eminem? Like quick, snowball. Like, do you put this? You put this in your top 5 Eminem albums?
no, this is like it's okay. In my opinion, it's my top 3 are Mathers 1,
Okay.
Mathers 2, and Slim Shady LP. Those are still my 3 favorites. 2. So Mathers LP 2 starts off with the sequel to Stan, which I didn't even know that. I already liked the song, and then you pointed it out to me.
Yeah.
That it's
It's Matthew Mitchell. It's
yeah.
Stan's little
What's the
brother.
name of the song? Why can't I remember?
Bad guy.
Bad Guy. Yes.
What's crazy about the song is about a month ago, Eminem had an intruder, smashed the window in the
Oh,
back of Eminem's
Jesus.
house. Eminem wakes up and this dude, this bearded 20-year-old, is in Eminem's kitchen.
Oh my God, that's scary shit.
It is scary shit, but it reminded me right away of doors aren't unlocked. It shouldn't be so easy to do this. Like, it's literally
you don't plan
about
for intruders
just
beforehand.
beforehand?
Yeah, song like the last like I
the
don't know,
last
like
2
the last
minutes
like
of
2
that
minutes of that song are like it's like a slow build up to that song, but
Right.
the end of that song is some of the maybe the best shit he's ever done. Of course.
But what he does in the second half of that song
Yeah,
is just incredible. It's
yeah.
hair raising.
Rhyme and Reason, yeah, it's a much more up tempo, less serious song, but with amazing flow. He busts into a Yoda rap, which is totally wins my heart.
Yes.
Over, yeah. I mean, Rap God. I still listen to Rap God. I mean, I even let my kid listen to it because she should know what skill is, and she's always like, someone, you know, like she can't do it, but like,
too.
But like, she's
my
like,
daughter as well.
They should know that this is a skill. And it's like, you know, and it's an art. And
to make you feel better,
amazing.
that song is etched in pop culture.
Yeah,
it is because TikTokers on TikTok, it's very popular.
That's cool.
There's a bunch of TikTok videos of people doing that segment of the song.
That's that's one of his best singles of all time.
It is, and something's got to be said about a 7-minute single,
and it's still one of his best.
However long it is,
and it doesn't matter.
Nobody's getting away with
waiting
that.
For
hip-hop,
more.
Any musical form, nobody's getting away with doing a single that's that long.
No,
without a real chorus.
What was the last one before that? Fucking Hotel California, Stairway to Heaven.
It's true. It is true.
Nobody puts out 7-minute you know.
No, and Eminem did
songs.
it. And Eminem fucking did it.
Yeah, and I mean, of the singles, it might be the best single off the album. I don't know.
And it's an album that includes a single that had a "Love the Way You Lie" with Rihanna and Headlights.
Yeah, and Headlights.
Fun,
Nate Roos
Nate
from Fun.
Roos.
Yep.
Which also means that Eminem must have been a fan. I like to think.
Fan of some night.
But then again, Rick Rubin probably told him you should collab with this guy. I don't know. Either way, I'm glad it happened.
Yeah, me too.
And some of the deeper cuts too. I do want to make a reference to. I want to make a reference to a song on that album that isn't one of my favorite songs. Legacy.
Okay.
Isn't one of my favorite songs. I don't love the first 2 verses because I feel like he's treading old ground.
Yeah, but
I know you got beat up by D'Angelo Bailey. You said it better in
older
older songs.
It turns it on though. Like,
but in that last verse is one of my favorite Eminem verses. I'm not doing it justice right now, but the whole segment, you're a bunch of Brian Boldingers. I thought it was great.
Oh, Asshole.
Asshole is one of my favorite tracks on the album.
Better go in that ring and knock him out. You better knock him out. I don't know if I know there's a deluxe version. Desperation. That song's awesome. That's like the standout one. Those I've only in the last couple of years.
Wicked Ways is a great song. Groundhog Day is a
really
great song.
Good. But to me, I mean, the real crescendo, the real end of the album to me is Evil Twin. Is like when I mean, to me, like that's like and I don't know, are those songs before it on the extended version, or is it Evil Twin and then those songs are on it after?
For me, I feel like the extended version is just, I look at those songs as separate. They're not on the album.
Okay, gotcha.
But I disagree with you. Where like, I remember listening to that going, shit, these songs are all kind of better.
To me, Evil Twin is like just him just kicking ass and taking names. The whole fucking songs. What is he? He's like, fuck top 5, bitch. I'm top 4. That includes Biggie and Pop 4. Plus, I got an Evil Twin. So who you think the third and that fourth spot's for? He's cocky and arrogant, and you know, but he deserves it. He is up there. He is one of the best lyricists of all time. You know,
absolutely. I mean, I got to correct myself. "Love the Way You Lie" is not the single with Rihanna. This is the second single.
This is the one with Monster. Yeah.
It's Monster. So Far is a great track. I love
So Far is also an amazing song.
It's just Eminem and the guitar riff.
It's one of them is Life's Been Good to Me by Joe
Yes,
Walsh.
I didn't even know it came from that until I went to go see with my dad an Eagles concert at the Garden, and he came out at some point.
You went to that, you lucky bastard? That's awesome.
Me and my dad went.
That's cool.
Yeah, like last year.
That's
year and
awesome.
A half. And Joe Walsh came out and did the song, and I'm like, wait a minute, my Joe Walsh stole this shit from Eminem. I instantly
it's from the
realized
70s or 80s.
I instantly realized that Rubens obviously told him to do that. It was Paul Rubin, not Paul Rubin, Rick Rubin.
Pee Wee Herman.
Song. Yeah. And my least favorite song on the album is So Much Better. I don't like that song at all.
What?
You like that song?
I do like that song.
Really?
A lot. Yeah, I like it better than Monster and Survival and all the other one I said. I'm like, and Stronger Than I Was. And,
no, this is my least favorite. Other than
all the extra songs too.
But then again, being an artist like Eminem, it could be a song I don't like, but then he has lines in there that are amazing.
But there's different now. Like
I got 99 problems, but a bitch ain't one. She's all fucking 9 of them. I need a machine gun.
Yeah.
One of the best songs on the album to stand out is Love Game.
Game. I mean, yeah, that might be the best song on the album. I don't know.
It's a really good song, and Kendrick more than holds his own.
Sharon
with
is
that.
not available. I'll leave a message some shit like
Kendrick is
have a
evo-
blessed day. Sorry, I'm done.
Kendrick is evoking old school shady flow. He's more shady on that song than M is, because on that song M is on his 2011 ish M flow where he's just going really fast. And
Yeah.
he's killing it, but he's not having fun with the beat. And Kendrick's just having fun with the beat, and he almost even outshines M. As
Yeah.
good as M is on that song.
You know, yeah, it's funny. It's like the first time, like you hear the first M verse, it's tight, it's awesome. Then Kendrick does the second verse and blows the first verse away, and then you're like, oh my god, somebody blew Eminem away in a song.
Yeah.
And then M comes back with the third verse, and like it's the best one probably, or arguably they're very close. The
I
second,
feel like the third verse is him hearing Kendrick's verse,
and being like, oh yeah,
he's overcompensating in a sense.
You think so? I don't know.
To
I
me.
go the window, I screw my body slamming up. Yeah, that made a sinkhole, very distinct hole.
Yeah. And yeah, he's absolutely murdering it. Don't get me wrong. You know?
But I mean, an album.
Coarser than Toy Sponge face.
Yeah.
He's murdering it. But I did feel a little sense of overcompensation where I kind of wanted to hear a second Kendrick verse. We're just having him fun. I would have rather them just do the 2 and 2.
I wish
so
he was
Eminem
on one
make
of
a
his last
shorter
two
verse.
albums. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish he did
know.
a song. Yeah, he's not, right? He's not on the.
He's not. Eminem's probably like, yo, I can't put this. He's the one dude that steals verses from me. He's the one dude that can outshine me. I'm not gonna make another song with that guy.
So he doesn't. Yeah. Well, yeah, that's
But yeah, that is our list.
That's our list. Those are our favorite albums of the decade, the teens. I don't know, whatever the hell you call them.
Whatever you want to call them. If you haven't heard these, I recommend you check out all of them.
Absolutely. Highly
Especially
recommended.
the biscuit one. Satan disagrees. But that's our story. Rizzo Satan, the movie
Sticking
bowl.
to it. Movie bowl, doing the music bowl today.
Oh,
And,
yeah.
have a good afternoon.
Peace.
Peace.